What's up guys, my name is Killer Cloud, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the Limitless Mod, Copper Edition. I happen to have a dark wood tribal sleeve, and a few things I have to say about this Limitless Mod that's different from my other mods that I have. 1, extremely low voltage drop. 2, it's a hybrid mod which increases less voltage drop. It just, hybrid mods are the rage right now. I mean, they're the best for very low voltage drop ratings. 3, the Switch has a setup inside of it, which I'm going to show in the uppy closey, so don't worry about it. But no matter how you touch it, and if you happen, just by moving it, rotating it, it's not going to, recess or come out at all. It's gonna stay where it needs to be, flush with the mod. So you're not gonna have those issues like other mods where the switch kind of comes out, then you have to screw it back in and make it flush. That's not an issue with this mod. 4, it is extremely well crafted, high reputation. I've never experienced a hot switch from this mod at all. On extremely low sub-ohm builds to just, regular builds, tanks, anything. I haven't experienced a hot switch. What I mean by a hot switch is that if there's gapping in the threading, if it's a tiny bit dirty, sometimes you can get a hot switch from your build, the resistance. It makes a break in the voltage, the current going to the RDA, and then you get the switch tends to get really hot or warm. Haven't experienced that at all. So with that being said, there are a few cons to this mod, and I will explain more in my uppy closey. But before I do that, I'm going to take some more tooths for you guys, show you guys the cloud production, talk about my build, and then we'll get right to it. Okay, so juice I'm using right now is glass. I'm using Pebbles, 6 milligrams. I did a review on the whole glass e-juice line. If you guys haven't checked out that review, you must check out that review. It is the best juice so far that I've vaped. That's a high statement, coming from, I do a lot of e-juice reviews. I like a lot of juices. I like Sweet Tooth by Alpha Vapes. Everyone knows that by now that's been a subscriber to me. I can't stop talking about Sweet Tooth. But Pebbles by Glass is one of my favorite juices so far. Okay, so it's a 70-30. Great, good amount of VG for those clouds and that 30% PG. The 6 milligrams, I can't even taste the 6 milligrams. And just a bomb juice. If you guys want to check out the full line, I did do a review, so watch that. The best juice, hands down. So I'm running it on my Kennedy competition RDA, authentic, and the build is 24 gauge dual parallel 5 wrap. I believe it came off to 0.11 or I think it's like 0.10 or 0.11 ohms. Fire is great, by the way. Look at this. This mod hits so hard, okay? This is why I'm reviewing this mod to you guys. People on my channel want hard-hitting mods. A lot of mods that are being sold out to date are saying that they're hard-hitting mods, and then when you buy them, they're not hard-hitting mods. They're kind of like mediocre, or they hit good, or they over-exaggerate on the product and what it actually is. Limitless Mod, Jesus Christ. I mean, this thing, when they said it was a hard-hitting mod, I've seen a bunch of people, repping Limitless, but I had no idea that this would hit as hard as people said it would. I'm gonna give you guys some more toots. I'll be close to you next. Alright guys, so here's the Limitless mod. Mine happens to be copper with the dark wood tribal Hawaiian wood sleeve. I have my Kennedy sitting on top, real nice and flush. And I'm gonna give you guys a 360 of this right now before I do the actual review. Let's get a little closer. love the wood sleeve. Now they have tons and tons and tons of sleeves to choose from. Now what's cool about the Limitless mod is it comes when you buy it, just the mod itself without the sleeve. This is the sleeve. And then you have the choice to choose any sleeve you want out of the choice that they have available, which I mean they have a ton of sleeves available, so it appeals to almost everyone. But this sleeve is just beautiful, hand engraven, handmade wood sleeves. These are just gorgeous sleeves. Really shows the craftsmanship, from these type of sleeves from Limitless. I mean, these are just fantastic. Now at the bottom, I'm going to show you guys the switch real quick, which is just gorgeous. Let me flip that around real quick. Okay, so you have LMC, I can't even talk. Limitless Mod Company or Corporation. You got that triangle with the stars around, and then I don't know if you guys can see this. It's really hard to see, but on all Limitless mods, let's try to get a little closer than that. See that little tiny wording under LMC? That tiny, tiny, tiny little, like, tiniest of fonts. Basically what that is it is the mod serial number. It says USA and then the serial number. It is in really, really small font. I don't know why they chose that small of font, but if I can see, mine is 34886. Extremely hard to see with the camera. I can barely see with my eyes, but that is the serial number of mine. Authentic. It has a lifetime warranty. If you have anything wrong with it, normally you can call them up and they will fix it, okay? Now, since this is a 2 mod, nothing isn't really going to go wrong with this at all. I mean, this is fairly basic, very hard-hitting, long-lasting mod, so I highly doubt you'd ever be able to call them for anything. I mean, they're booked on making mods. Let's take this thing apart. So I'm going to take my RDA off. Put that at the side. And now we have the top. Okay, so this is a hybrid mod, so that means there's no top pin at the top making contact with that battery. You have a straight contact with the bottom of your, mine happens to be the Kennedy, but if you guys can see real quick, there's a significant amount of that contact sticking out, which makes contact with the battery. You kind of need a contact like this, if not more, for a hybrid mod. If you have something that's completely flush with the negative casing of that 510 threading, then it might arc on your battery inside the mod, so keep that in mind, guys. The Mutation XV4, the Kennedy, there's quite a few RDAs that have this pin sticking out pretty well, but this is still a really hard-hitting mod, but just make sure that the pin makes a significant amount of space from that 510 threading. Okay, so I'm gonna take this thing apart. So first I'm gonna take apart my switch. Put that at the side, and now we have my battery flying out, and now we have the tube. Okay, now when you first buy this, I'm gonna try to get this thing out. It's a little hard to get out because of that wood. I got it perfect. Okay, when you get the mod, when you first buy it from their website or wherever have you, it's gonna come like this. Okay, that's it. If you buy a brass one, if you buy copper, aluminum, stainless steel, they're going to come like this. Just plain nude mod. And you want to cover this thing up because this thing doesn't look that pretty when it doesn't have a sleeve on it. So you have all these sleeves to choose from. This one happens to be about 20 bucks for this wood sleeve. All you have to do is just take the switch off and then pop the sleeve on. That's about it. And then there it is, nice and sexy. Okay, so I'm gonna put this, do a little zoom up for you guys on this though. So you have really, really, really deep airflow grooves at the top. In case your RDA doesn't have its own airflow, mine happens to have its own airflow, but in case if you're using a tank setup, it doesn't have its own airflow and you need to use the mod's supplied airflow, don't worry about it. This thing has some deep grooves at the top for that airflow. You also have 4 holes drilled into the body of the mod, for in case your mod, your battery starts to vent and it needs to cool down the battery, it's going to use these airflow holes at the top. Okay, no top pin like I said before, just straight through. You see that? Straight through. Now this is pure copper from the mod, and I'm going to do a close-up on the threading. Threading is beautiful, by the way. Beautiful. Alright, so let's just show you guys the switches threading. Really, really nice threading. I mean, this is some deep threading. You're not going to get any squeaking when you screw this into your mod. It is gorgeous. And then now the threading from the inside, just really nice. I mean, this is just a beautiful mod. Okay, so here's the magic right here. The switch, very simple yet efficient. Okay, so to adjust battery rattle, you have this Delrin piece. Okay, this little Delrin, and you can twist it lefty loosey, pops it out. So then you have it sticking out a little bit further. You can twist it clockwise, and then you can make it lower. So this adjusts battery rattle. Okay, now there is a there's a steel spring inside here. When you push this, very tight throw, so you don't have to switch this out with a magnet. It's not necessary, guys, really not necessary. So very tight throw. What I like about the switch is, see these grooves at the left and right hand side? This makes it so the switch doesn't spin at all on you, and it doesn't unthread itself from the inside. I could touch this anywhere and it's not going to unthread because of those little key slots. Anywhere I push my finger on this button, it is going to make contact and fire. Very buttery smooth switch. Now for that saying, I'm going to take this switch apart. I'm going to take whoopsie daisy, out of focus. So I'm going to take this apart, lefty loosey unloosens it. Now this little Delrin, threaded kind of ring pops off, put that at the side, and now you have your switch. Okay, you have this little disc inside, and I don't know if I can get this out. That's the issue. I don't know if I can get this out. Got it. Okay, so lefty loosey again removes this steel ring. I'm gonna do a zoom up on this so you guys can see it a little bit better. This is what keeps the switch all together, the contact, all that good stuff. I'm gonna take that apart, and if you notice, me taking this ring off makes the gap, obviously when this is fully tight, it's going to be flush with the mod. No locking ring on this mod at all, but it doesn't need it because of that tight throw. I guarantee this thing's not going to fire if you keep it in your pocket. Now I'm just going to push this baby out, and now you can see the internals. So you have this steel spring right here, very thick gauge spring, very tight throw. And then you have your, Jesus Christ, that's dirty. Ugh. Should have cleaned it a little bit better for you guys, but sorry about that. Didn't even realize. I have never taken this switch apart, so yeah, there's a little bit of oxidation on this copper, but that's no worry. I can take it off with some Brasso. Here is that's it. I mean, it's 1 unit thick copper. I mean, this is the reason why this thing doesn't get a hot switch at all. It is just milled in completely, 1 unit. You can't take this apart at all, and it is just gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna start putting it back together now because I can't look at this thing when it's apart. So first, what you want to do is you have your bottom switch, you have your spring. Just pop that in, okay? Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your switch housing and you're going to line it up with these two grooves in the inside. These two grooves in the inside are going to line up with those two grooves. It's going to fit right into place. And now that's in place. Now I can push it. Now what I'm going to do is take this little stainless lock ring. I'm going to push down my switch and I'm going to thread it back on. And I like to stop threading it once I get kind of a really flat to the switch. I don't want to see it sticking out at all. That's what I like. It's all about preference though. But I like to have it sticking nice and flush. Perfect. Nice and flush. Okay, so I'm going to take the Delrin piece and thread it back on. Clockwise makes it go lower. Okay. Now that's the switch. So basically all you have to do is just pop your battery in. I like to take my RDA and put it on first, just so then I can adjust battery rattle at the end with that switch. Have my RDA nice and flush. Pop my battery in and then screw my switch on. Alright, now see this gap right here? It's a tiny bit of a gap. Now all I have to do is just lower that Delrin piece and then it should make it suck up. Very easy on adjustments, very easy. With that only adjustment piece being the switch, then it's a lot quicker when I need to do battery rattle. No, okay, so almost no separation, still a tiny bit of separation. I could always fix that later, that's not really that big of an issue. But as you can see, look at this, fires. Perfect. Alright then. So I'm gonna go back out and give you guys some more toots. Really hard hitting mod, guys. Alright, so before I end this review, I mean, because it's very simple. It's a very simplistic design for a mod, but it works very well. Extremely low voltage drop. So what I'm going to do, like always, is I'm going to have my multimeter and I'm going to measure voltage drop on the mod with the RDA. Okay, so first step, I'm going to take off my RDA and I'm going to pop in a fresh battery into this because I don't know how long I've been using these batteries. By the way, batteries I've been using now besides the Sony's are the Samsung 25Rs. A few good things with this battery. So with the Sony's, like I always use, it's really hard to find authentic Sony's now. I mean, extremely hard. Whenever someone says authentic, please watch my real or fake Sony video to better explain the difference between the two. I don't like taking chances anymore when I'm buying clones of batteries or rewraps. Don't like it at all. So I've been buying Samsung 25Rs. I've heard a lot of good stuff about them, and what I have to say about it is they're gorgeous. I mean, the hit quality is amazing. The 25 amp continuous amp limit pulse is 65. Okay, that's incredible. Pulse is 65. So, with that being said, these batteries are awesome. I mean, hit quality is very, very nice. The milliamp per hour, I think they are, what does it say on here? Doesn't say it, but I remember them saying 2100 milliamps, I believe. 2100. They last a decently long amount of time. I mean, very, very long. And the hit quality is different from the Sony's. I've noticed that it hits as hard as it was to be a fresh battery, maybe 30 or 45 minutes into the battery. With the Sony's, I noticed a drop. So it would hit really good for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then would drop to around 3.8 volts, and that would get kind of a but it was still a good hit. The Samsungs I highly recommend, and they're authentic, very easy to find, great all-around batteries. So I'm going to pop this battery in. I'm talking too much. So let's measure the voltage of the battery in the mod. A little bit of a battery rattle with this, not as far sticking out, so I'm just going to increase the Delrin ring inside. Alright. Okay, so 4.15. Remember that, guys. 4.15. 4.15. Got it. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is take my RDA and slip it on and see the difference. .4. Very tiny of a voltage drop. That's almost a, you had 4.1 and then you have 3.4, barely anything. That's less than 1 volt. That's it's a 0.6. I can't do math right now. Jesus Christ. Cannot do math right now, but very minimum of a voltage drop with this mod. It still hits amazingly well even through this. If you want a hard-hitting mod, and then you want good batteries, Samsung 25R Limitless Mod, Copper Edition, okay? Really, really nice, okay? So I'm gonna drip some more juice, if I can find my juice. Right behind the camera, obviously. That looks great, me reaching to you guys. Hey, what's up? So let's see, I'm gonna do some more juice. I think the Kennedy RDA just performs amazingly well on this Limitless mod. I mean, I had a few other mods I ran the Kennedy on, and it was alright, it was good, but the Limitless mod just makes the Kennedy look like a badass. I mean, on all my other mods, the Kennedy, like, it hits good, but it doesn't hit that amazing. The Limitless mod just blowout session. Insane. Really, really nice. Okay, so I don't want to make this video too long, me just ranting and ranting and ranting, but quick announcement for everyone that's watching this video. I announced my winner on Instagram. So since I had my contest on Instagram, I announced him on Instagram. I believe his name is Joshua or Josh. He won my prototype for my box mod I will be releasing soon. I'm not gonna give a release date for my box mod, but it will be coming out within 5 to 6 months, and it is I'm not gonna release any info about it. It's gonna be a surprise for you guys. I gave him a prototype, and he said he can't wait to get it. So once he gets it, he'll have my first ever mod until I release my version 1. So I can't release any information about my mod. I know a lot of people have been wanting to ask me what it looks like, what it's gonna be, blah 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 blah. I know, but I can't release any information yet. I don't want it to be spoiling the surprise. I am really juiced up about this idea, and I've been thinking about it for roughly a year now. But I've just figured out what to do, what I want it to look like, and I want you guys to be excited as much as I'm excited about it. So you guys will definitely see it once I do a review. Once I do a review of my box mod on my channel, then it will be up for sale. Okay, but that's it. That's all I'm giving out the information for. So anyway, back to the Limitless mod. Highly recommend it. Definitely you should get it. The only bad things about it is if your contact excuse me, if your contact on your RDA, the burping never stops. Alright, so if the contact on your RDA isn't sticking out far enough, you risk arcing your battery on the negative inside body of this mod. That's with all hybrid mods, not just this mod. If you buy a hybrid mod, that's the risk you take. So you have to make sure that contact sticks out far enough. That's one. Two, it is extremely hard to find in copper, out of stock almost all the time. So you have to be either in a waiting list on their website, or pre-order it and wait for it to be made again, and then you'll be the first, or in a line of list of people to be waiting for this mod. So it's not really a con, more of like it is extremely popular and you have to wait in a list, basically. The third con of this mod is, what's the con of this mod? The con of this mod. Okay, here the con of this mod is this. Like I showed you guys in my Biclosi, when you first buy the initial mod, the mod is only without the sleeve. You buy it without the sleeve, and then you buy separately a sleeve that goes along with it. It's not a whole purchase. You have to buy things separate. They have a choice on their website. I'll give you guys a link to their website down below in the description box, for all the sleeves and the mods and where to buy them. I prefer buying them straight from their website. I don't like to buy mods from other websites because they could be making clones, God forbid, I know, but clones are a big issue, and I want to give a thumbs up to Limitless for making this mod. So I will give you guys a link to their website. Now, before I end this review, I'm going to go, whenever you want to get into your password on your phone, you can never type in your password, I swear. I mean, this is just, my phone is something else sometimes. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys the price of my copper edition, okay? Please bear with me, guys. I know you guys don't want to sit down and wait for me. I'm very unprepared right now. Just 1 second. Okay, so for the Limitless Mod Copper Edition, you're looking at $154.95. I'm just gonna say $155. It's easier. The Dark Wood Ohana sleeve, the one I have, I said it was 20. I lied to you. It's not 20. They've boosted the price up to $50. $50 for the sleeve. Now, 155, 50, you're looking at about $210. That is an expensive mod. Oh my god, it's expensive. It's expensive, but you're buying a really hard hitter. I don't like expensive mods, but you know what? You gotta give credit to these guys for making a really good mod. That's the only thing you have to do. Let's see. They have a bunch of different sleeves on their website. I'll definitely give you guys a link. And they have replacement parts for if things fail or break or melt. They have all the replacement parts for you to fix it. They also have upgrades, such as instead of a steel spring in your mod, you can either choose between having gold-plated magnets, or you can have silver-plated spring, which is nice. I've never had an issue with the steel one, so I mean, I'd just suggest keeping the steel one, see how you like it, and if you wanted to upgrade and see how it worked, then buy it. But I'm sticking with the steel spring. It works great for me. Tons and tons of sleeves available. I guarantee you're gonna find one that you want. I mean, they have a shit ton, and excuse my language, but they have a lot of sleeves. They also have a silver-plated Limitless button. I mean, this stuff is just tons and tons of add-ons for this mod. It doesn't really get boring with the Limitless mod. You can basically do anything you want to it. Trying to look for anything else on here. Is there anything else that I need to tell you before I end this review? I just want to make sure I cover everything. That's it. I'm trying to make sure I cover everything. So you have the copper version, you have the brass version, you have the aluminum bodied version. The copper one is 155, the brass one is 120, and the aluminum one is 80. Okay, now the aluminum one, it hits as good as the copper one. Honestly, it hits as good. And the plus is the copper one hits harder than the aluminum one by a tiny fraction, but the aluminum one does not tarnish at all. The copper one tarnishes. You have to constantly clean this copper one. But copper mods hit a lot harder than the aluminum mods do. That's just fact. The aluminum mod is also a lot softer than the copper one, so be wary of that. It may bend, but the brass one's really nice too. I prefer getting copper mainly because of that voltage drop. It's not very minimum compared to brass and aluminum. And that's about it, guys. I mean, hopefully I covered everything. I think they got a ton of sleeves on here. It's insane. They also have some complete mod setups that you can buy on their website. Which includes the mod, the sleeve, everything you need to get started except for the RDA, obviously. They have a few special mods available. Modmen, which is like a Greek key symbol with that green sleeve, and they also have Bud Tattoo copper mod. It's a copper mod with a black sleeve that has like a gas mask logo on it. So want to end that. I'm going way too long about this, but this is just a lot of variations, a lot of customability when going into this Limitless mod. You're not just going to have a mod that looks like everyone else's. You get to completely customize the look of that mod, and I think that's very special and very unique. So, want to end this review, guys. I've been ranting and explaining. I just want to cover everything, though. So, hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace out.